Hi everyone, welcome to the Laser Channel where we learn, create, and share. My name is Greg, and this is the latest laser machine from WeCreat. I have a pre-release of the Lumos laser machine, and this is going to be a real treat to be able to share this with all of you. Let's check it out. The Lumos machine is very nicely packaged, just like all of the other WeCreat products. I've got all the kibbles and bits laid out on the table that are included with the basic kit. We're going to check that out along with some of the packaging that helps ensure that this machine gets to the doorstep safe and sound. A quick look at the box and the packaging. The box itself is made from a thick double-walled cardboard, and we saw during the unpackaging all of this nice white custom formed foam to keep the Lumos perfectly safe during the shipping process. The included screwdriver is the only tool I need for assembly, and there's a USB adapter, USB cable, a wrench, the 24-volt power supply rated at 7 amps, the power cable for the adapter, the exhaust adapter, included hose, and 2 plates for the bed area of the machine. This purple one is reversible with all these mounting points for these 2 brackets to hold my material in place. This black one has these raised edges that's perfect for cutting. The basic kit even includes 2 pieces of basic material and, of course, the main body of the machine. And here's the laser head. We're going to be checking that out in a little bit more detail later on in the video. Actually, let's take a look at the laser before it gets installed in the machine. Off to either side of the lens are going to be 2 lights. There's also going to be what appears to be a camera lens, and right next to that looks to be like a flame detect sensor. And then on this far side is going to be a red dot laser to help set the focus of the machine. And of course, in the middle is this huge focusing lens. On a Galvo type laser, we call this a field lens. And in comparison, the protective lens on a regular diode machine is only this big. Question: what's the difference between a Galvo laser and a regular laser diode machine? Let's take a look. For reference, we're taking a look at the WeCreat Vision Pro, and here's the main laser unit, and just as you would expect, that laser unit moves back and forth on the rails in any direction to create all of our fun projects, noting that the laser head is always moving over the engraving area. On a Galvo laser, the laser source stays stationary. When I remove the field lens, we're going to see that there's a pair of mirrors, and it's the laser beam bouncing off of those 2 pivoting mirrors which creates our projects for us. These mirrors can move much faster than a large laser source having to move directly over the project area, so this Galvo type laser is going to be much faster, and it's still crazy accurate. Off camera, I assembled the Lumos machine. I thought about sharing that experience with you, but it literally only took about 1 to 2 minutes. All I had to do was take the included screwdriver and bolt up the exhaust port onto the back of the machine. The only other assembly was screwing down the laser module that we just saw on the table up to the main machine and then put the final tight on that 1 bolt with the included wrench. At the time of the recording, I have limited tech specs on this pre-release of the machine. However, by the time you're able to watch this video, I'll have a link down in the video description that you can check out all the details about the Lumos machine. Some of the tech specs that I do have are on the laser module itself. The Lumos is going to feature a dual laser source. It's going to have 10 watts of blue laser diode and 3 watts of IR, all built in to the same unit. The dual laser source module isn't the only cool thing on this machine. Let's check it out. The Lumos has a modern, rounded shape. It's super portable with a built-in carrying handle. There's a built-in exhaust fan. We'll see during the sample projects the air intake is on the top, bringing in cool, fresh air to cool the laser modules and exhaust the project smoke out the back of the machine. It's hard to miss the large eye-friendly shield that provides a large viewing area of projects. The laser bed has a modular design, mounting points for fixtures for bulk projects, removable bed to engrave large items, and the blade bed for cutting. Here's the manual focus adjust, and there's an autofocus button as well. There's also a port for a rotary attachment and accessories, which, by the way, I just found out today are on their way, so stay tuned for future videos on the Lumos laser machine by WeCreat. That's a lot of really neat features on this machine, and a couple other things that really make this stand out is it will engrave color on metal 3 times faster than other similar machines. The rotary and work area extension is going to allow me to engrave cups and mugs 360 degrees of full wrap and even the large Stanley mugs. With these Galvo type lasers, the focal distance is really large, so no longer is the handle on those cups and mugs going to get in the way of the laser head. The machine itself is sleek, it's got a nice purple color, and it's definitely very portable. I'm going to read this last one off the list to make sure I get it perfectly right. The machine is capable of up to 8K resolution and a 0.00199 millimeter accuracy for jewelry-like precision. The machine's assembled, I have the power pack out, and I've got my computer set up. That must mean it's time for a couple sample projects. And for this, I'm going to be using the free Make It software for the WeCreat family of laser machines. I'm going to be making 2 projects. The first one on wood using the 10-watt blue laser diode module, and the second on metal using the 3-watt IR module. The first project material is the 3mm bass plywood that is included with the machine. It's secured in the work area with 2 little pieces of double-sided tape. Next, I'm going to press and hold the autofocus button before we jump into the graphics in the Make It software. And that's easy. With the push of a button, the machine's properly focused. Let's check out this first graphic. I've loaded in my own graphic. It's a nice wooded mountain scene with a nice river stream running through the middle of it. We'll see that the background is the wood material placed in the machine. Yep, the Lumos does have that built-in camera system. I simply hit the refresh button and it will load in or take a new picture of the work area. I've selected the material as the 3mm wood, basswood, and when I click on the image, we'll see that I've got it set to fill engrave, and when I click on the image down here, this is all built into the Make It software, by the way, and that's going to pop up this window, and from here, I can pick out what color darkness I want for the engraving, and I think that I like this one. And so it just ported all those settings in over here. That's it. I'm ready to hit the start button and start engraving this first project. And this is generally the whole idea behind the whole WeCreat family of laser machines is simple clicks to get the machine set up for the project so that I can spend more time creating and making projects and less time tending to the machine, getting it ready to make those projects. The engraving's complete, and it only took about 8.5 minutes. If I was using a conventional laser machine, this would have taken much longer. The first project's complete, and it looks great, and most of all, it was fun and it was easy. The next project I have loaded up in the machine already, and it's going to be one of these blue anodized aluminum keychains. Once again, I'll set the focus of the machine by just pressing the button on the side. And just like that, I've got perfect focus set. Let's jump back into the computer and check out the graphic for project number 2. Here's the camera view of that keychain, and we're gonna see I've got it in there just really crooked, and I did that purposely, showing that you don't always have to have the material perfectly aligned inside the machine. That's the great aspect of having a camera. I can see that it's an angle, and now when I take my graphic, the laser channel, I can move that over to this area, and what I'm going to look at is this top border line, and I'm going to rotate my graphic until it is even with the top of this keychain. That looks good, and now I can just place this anywhere around. I like the way that that looks. And for the settings, the defaults that they have loaded into the Make It software for this machine, they currently just have stainless steel. So I varied my settings just a little bit. I slowed the machine down to 125 millimeters per second, and we'll see how this goes. We'll also see that I switched over to the red light or the IR module, and that's because if I left it on the blue laser diode, the blue laser diode really can't work with any blue materials. This all looks good, and once again, it's really just this easy to get the machine set up, to get the software set up, so I can go ahead and hit the start button. Check that out. That looks absolutely perfect, and that was super quick. That took less than 1 minute. This keychain turned out absolutely perfect, and the amount of detail is, it's just simply amazing. Now, one of the things that I did before I removed it from the machine is I did click the refresh button to take a new camera image. That way I could compare where the engraving showed up on the material versus where the graphic was placed within the software. Let's check that out. Right now it looks like it's aligned up pretty perfectly. As I zoom in, we're going to see that it is off just a tiny little bit. And in fact, up here in the corner of the E, I drew a little line from the edge of the engraving to the graphic. That way I could kind of measure the error. And when I highlight that little tiny line, we're going to see that it is only 0.5 millimeter wide, which is really, really good. On machines that have a camera system, they call it good if they're within 1 or 2 millimeters. This machine, straight out of the box, is 0.5 millimeter. This machine has been absolutely amazing, and the performance out of it is really great. And if I'm going to be totally honest with you, when I first saw the specs of the laser modules, I thought they were a little underpowered at 10 watts for the blue laser and 3 for the IR. And that's kind of uncharacteristic for WeCreat, who build very powerful, very high quality machines. However, that 10 watt blue laser feels a lot more like a 20 watt. That has to do for 2 reasons. The first thing is the field lens that we saw earlier in the video. That thing is massive and it's really high quality. Now what that's going to do is it's going to focus the laser beam down to a teeny tiny spot size, so the energy density in that spot is going to make it perform like it's a 20 watt laser module. The other thing is the autofocus system on here. See, with the really small spot size, the machine does have to be very carefully focused, and the autofocus on here nails it every time. A couple last thoughts that I have on the machine. With its portability and very powerful lasers, it really lends itself to a lot of different crafts and also small business applications. With the portability, I think this would fit in great at like a craft show, an expo center, or like a vendor show like that. And I think a great idea would be to get a bunch of these keychains. On one side, I could put my company logo on it, and then the other side, I could personalize it to the potential client that I'm talking to. And then that way, they've got something to walk away with, and maybe they'll show this to other people at the vendor show, and then more people would come to my booth. Join me for future videos. We'll be taking a look at the accessories for the Lumos, like the rotary and the work area extension. That's why it's important to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, or ring that notification bell. Not only will you know that those other videos are coming out, it's also a great way to help the laser channel grow, and it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with other great viewers just like you. And until we meet again in the next video, learn, create, and share.